If you thought last Sunday at Darlington was exciting, wait till you see what's in store tonight for the second race of the round of 16, the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Last time out at Darlington, Matt Kenseth held off a furious charge by Dylan Murway after he almost got crashed by two guys. Dylan Murway still held on and finished second. We head to a track where he dominated pretty heavily in April. Let's see how the rest of the day goes for him. The rest of the night, I should say. Now, I should say that preface this race weekend first. This race was held in 2001, 3 days before the worst attack in American history, September 11th, where two terrorists flew planes into the Twin Towers, killing thousands. Another plane was hijacked and flown into the Pentagon, and a plane was flown into the Inouye Field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, which that plane was targeted for the White House. To honor those who lost their lives on that day, we will have a very silent laps 9 through 11 tonight. We have a very simple paint scheme for this race, as you can obviously see.
MRN comes to Richmond, Virginia for tonight's race, the Chevy Monte Carlo 400. Richmond offers a little something for everyone, doesn't it, Monte?
This is a fast track, even though it's less than a mile. Richmond's smooth surface gives the drivers plenty of room to maneuver and make clean passes, but you'll still see a fair share of bumping going on out there.
This is a much-needed break for the Richmond International Raceway car.
Yeah, this should give that whole team a little boost. They've been struggling in qualifying week after week, but it looks like they're trying to turn things around. I'm proud of these guys.
Kyle Petty started racing in the Winston Cup Series back in 1979 at the age of 19.
You know, there's a lot of pressure on drivers in NASCAR, and you got to believe it's even heavier when your last name is Petty. So to come out and start banging fenders with these guys at age 19, you've got to admire that.
Jeff Purvis is towards the bottom of the points list this season.
Yeah, those guys have been working so hard this year. Shame it doesn't really show in the points. Just seems they can't keep that car out of trouble on race day. Maybe their luck will change today.
That's your starting lineup for tonight's Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Dylan Murray won the pole Friday afternoon. A lot of big names starting at the rear of the field. Jeff Gordon starting 26th. Jimmy Johnson starting 28th. Matt Kenseth starting outside the top 30. Bobby Labonte starting 41st. Another week in a row he's used that past champions provisional. Anyways, can Dylan Murray rebound after getting in a couple late dust-ups last Sunday at Darlington? This was a race he won back in April. And he's brought a even faster car than the spring race. A lot of good names qualifying up there. John Andretti and Jamie McMurray. Would like to give a shout out to those guys today. But we are about a couple hours behind schedule. The good news is, weather is clear. We should be able to run the entire race to its full conclusion. Pace car is off. Dylan Murray, Jeff Burton, bring him down. We're green at Richmond. Dylan Murray led the first lap, trying to get away from the 10 car. Johnny Benson, who's trying to get a nose in on the 83. Can't quite do it. Dylan comes off 4. He will lead this lap again, so that's 5 more bonus points. That will definitely help his efforts. He is currently first highest driver in the round on points when we cut the field from 16 to 12 after Bristol. Oh, Dylan, terrible entry heading into turn 3. He's going to let Ricky Rudd get underneath him. Dylan's going to get the power off, and Dylan's going to lead that lap. Five laps complete here in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Dylan Murray is pulled away. Ricky Rudd in tow. He obviously remembers the dust-up they had at Darlington on Sunday. So you can obviously might expect a little hard racing between these two, and a lot of them too. Don't really expect Ricky Rudd to be the type of guy to clean a guy out this early in the race. But you never know. We got 2 cars breaking away from the front of the field. Rudd trying to look to the inside. Oh, he almost caught the butt end of that turn 3 pit wall and thought better of it. Rudd looks to the inside. He's going to take the lead. Dylan's going to pay him back, take the spot, and new leader at the point at Richmond. We begin the tribute that was put together by this track earlier this week right now. 12 laps complete in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Dylan Murway has led all 12 of them. Ricky Rudd did have the lead for a moment in turn 3, but he was able to pull away. But Dylan was able to take away the spot from him. And now Dylan Murway is going to set sail and try to pull away. Field is starting to get a little strung out more towards the back of this pack. Or throughout the field, you see the top 5, I believe. Up there, you got the only car that's not the top 5 that is a playoff. That's not a. Holy shit, I'm getting tongue-tied. The only car that's not in the playoffs right now that is inside the top 5 is the 10 of Johnny Benson. Dylan had to get out of the gas to avoid hitting the wall. He's going to get the spot barely on Ricky Rudd heading towards turn 1. That's the thing about Ricky Rudd's driving style. He's not really one of those guys that'll go up and immediately rough a guy up for no reason. And, you know, bang into other cars to try to get the spot. But if you're racing with a young kid and he's getting aggressive, he'll let you earn it. And that was him earning it off the corner, going as far down to the bottom as he did. Which is another characteristic of this track. Granted, it is less than a mile when it was reconfigured to a D shape that we know today. However, you still have plenty of room on the front stretch to make a clean pass. The sealer, on the other hand, that NASCAR put down for this track in the winter of 2001 that's lasted all year is turning this into a one-groove facility. Dylan is the only guy that's able to move his groove up because he's that fast. And that groove is usually right on that yellow line. Oh, way too early off the corner that time. Rudd has the spot on the inside. He's banging into each other. Burton does have the outside lane. Now Burton takes second. He's pretty successful here at Richmond. He's got a fast car. He had a fast car here back in April. We have completed the first fifth of this race, as Dylan Murway has been out front for all of them, but it has not come easy. Got Ricky Rudd, who has not let him get away. Jeff Burton, who's not let him get away. Which, these guys keep racing each other like they are, it could very well be a case of we might see a lot of guys get together. Dylan, the run off the corner, he's going to crowd Rudd to the bottom. Huge block. That right there, this early, it's ridiculous. But Dylan's just got a better car on the bottom. The only reason he's doing that is he's shortening up his corner on Rudd. And he's able to make it work each time. If I'm Ricky, I don't know how much longer I'd tolerate getting the corner getting chopped. Because he may make you earn it. He may not be the uberly dirty driver out there, but nobody likes getting chopped off like that, especially in the corner. Dylan Murway is carrying the fort for General Motors in this race, as he has led all 24 laps. We are working lap 25. Rudd did get a glimpse of the lead for the moment, but Dylan Murway is just blocking. He's covering pretty much all angles, and he's pulled away to about half a second at the line, going back towards turn 1. We did face a 2-hour delay at the start of this race. The race went green at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, right on the dot. And Dylan Murway has put together a blistering pace. Ricky Rudd, Jeff Burton, Johnny Benson, Mark Martin are the top 5. Rudd is currently in the playoffs as of right now by 2 positions. When we do our mid-race report, we'll look at the 4 bottom guys. Granted, after Gordon's 10th place finish, we did have to mention that, as we got a car blowing up. It is the 32 of Craven. And I was talking about Jeff Gordon. With his 10th place finish at Darlington, he came into the grid second. With Kenseth winning, he's now 6th on the playoff grade. His goal is just get through this round. He's got the points. Don't have a terrible race. Don't DNF. And you'll be good, because that round of 12 does not look pretty. Dylan's got about a second lead on Ricky Rudd right now. He's able to get away from having to block for 30 plus laps. And now he's got 1.2 seconds on Jeff Burton now, as he was able to make his way around Ricky Rudd. "31 laps complete in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Dylan Murway has led every single one of them. Got Ricky Craven on pit road. He is the only car out of the race with a blown motor. Which very unusual compared to what we saw in April. A lot more yellows. And most of them were just minor onesie-twosie spins. Very unusual to see this race play out like it has. It's been all 33 laps under green. And the sealer hasn't really caused a lot of problems. In fact, the rain actually gave a lot of grip to this track. A lot more than many of the drivers would have liked. Plus, Goodyear brought a very hard tire. That was as hard as a brick, actually. "36 laps complete in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Dylan Murway has led every single one of them from the drop. A lot better than the spring race in April, where he had to get pretty physical and have to come back from a lap down to get the win. This is a lot tamer race for him. Or tamer of a race for him, I should say. Murway has led all 38 laps now, working lap 39. Got a 2-second gap on Jeff Burton. little over 4/10 of this race complete here in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. We are catching our first glimpse of lap traffic with Greg Biffle in the 16 car and Casey Kane in the 98. Both of them in danger of possibly going a lap down here. But may have been a long wait, but Dylan Murway is probably none the better for it. He just caught lap traffic. He's led all 40 laps. There have been no cautions at all. I'm telling you, he's loving this. Gotta back it down into turn 3 now. So that's 2 cars a lap down. Well, 3 if you don't count Ricky Craven. But he's been several laps down. He blew a motor. So we have 40 cars on the lead lap. In fact, depending on green flag pit stops, that number will more than likely grow. Dylan Murway has led all 44 laps. We are working lap 45. Got 1 car on pit road. It looked like it might have been Jeff Gordon, maybe going for an early gamble. It was a red Chevy on pit road. I couldn't tell because I was flying by turn 4. Sorry, it was Labonte on pit road. It was a blue Chevy, orange and blue. So now we're lapping more cars. Obviously not counting green flag pit stops.
You're not making any friends out there. All clear, buddy. Still there. Trying to get in. Still behind you.
48 laps complete here in the Monte Carlo 400. Dylan Murway has led every single one of them. Dylan's trying to he had to get a little physical with a couple lap cars. He's put Jerry Nadeau a lap down. Now look at this. Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon. Next on that list. Not a good night for Gordon. Up to this point. He is in danger. You can tell he's in danger. Bobby Labonte is also back here. He's currently outside the top 16 as of right now. Gordon started this race 6th after the playoff reshuffling. Sorry, it was 5th, I should say. I counted the math wrong yesterday. And he is in danger of going a lap down. He's got Bobby Labonte behind him, who's a lot closer to Dylan Murway than Gordon is. He's only got a couple cars. Gordon, whoa, Kay Skinner thought about going to pit road.
All right, we've led most laps today, Al, and finished strong. The 20 car is entering the track ahead.
Got 1 car exiting pit road. And yeah, he's pretty much dominated every facet of this race. Pit this time by, this time. Bobby Labonte falls a lap down. See the 17 of Matt Kenseth up there. He's going to be the lucky one, I'd argue. As he gets away from getting lapped. As definitely a clean pit stop. See how this shakes out. See Dale Jarrett up there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has taken the lead on this cycle of green flag stops. We have 8 cars on the lead lap. And we're looking through the rest of the grid right now. Gordon did take advantage of some pit strategy. Newman, Johnson are so far the 2 lowest. So Newman and Johnson are both outside the top 12 right now on the playoff grid, with Kenseth and Harvick right there. Waltrip is the first in as of right now. 1 position separates those 2 if this was a cut race. Eight cars on the lead lap. I lied. And 1 car has peeled off to pit road. I believe that is either Elliott or Mayfield. No, Elliott got to the inside of Sadler. Five laps complete in the Monte Carlo 400. And the contact between Bill Elliott and Dylan Murway. Crossover move there, gets by those 2 lap cars. We have ran this race caution free, haven't really had a yellow at all, which is very uncharacteristic for a short track. Currently, as of right now, Junior is still leading. He'd love to be really lucky and keep this race the way it is. Good news is, if a caution does come out, Dylan would be the first car in line. Nobody knows where the leader's at. In fact, he's actually entering turn 1 now. Dylan's going to try to unlap himself under green. 6 cars on the lead lap right now. Junior obviously playing some pit strategy. They couldn't make it go. Might have a car on pit road. And Dylan's about to do it. He's about to pass Earnhardt Jr. under green and unlap himself. This is nuts how fast he is. Using the 43 of Andretti as a pick, Contact is made. Junior tries to turn down. He misses pit road. Dylan is able to unlap himself, so we have 7 cars on the lead lap now. They're saying Junior needs to pit this time, otherwise that he's going to run out or cut a tire. So Dylan should assume the lead very shortly. I guess not. Maybe Junior's trying to play pit strategy. Nobody thought Richmond would be a fuel mileage race under the lights, especially with how much of a barn burner the spring race was. Fuel strategy racing. Gotta love it. Jimmy Spencer is on pit road now. So Gordon is in third after starting 23rd or 26th. Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are the race leaders. Dale Jarrett is in second right now. As we'll see how things shake out. Can't tell if Junior's on pit road or not. But 20 seconds ahead shows me that Junior's still trying to make it last. So Dylan would like a caution. Dale Jr. would not. He was passed under green to try to unlap himself. And then Junior's on pit road now. Dale Jarrett is your new leader. And it looks like Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon are going to come down. And this means Dylan Murray will reassume the lead. This is the same car that led virtually the entire first half of this event, of this race. It's by Harvick, gets by Waltrip. Harvick needs a win, so he does not need this performance, but compared to DNFing last week, this is a godsend for him. %70 of the way home in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. It's been all caution free up to this very point. One lap's complete. We are working lap 72. Dylan gets by the 16 of Greg Biffle. We'll put him a lap down. Ricky Craven is the only car out of this race up to this point. Car feels great. We're dominating this race. Led the entire first lap. Tried stretching it on fuel. Fell a lap down. Passed the leader under green to get our lap back. Junior, Jarrett, and Gordon tried to play fuel strategy, but that didn't work. And Dylan Murray is pretty well on his way to clinching a spot in the round of 12 with this win. 75 laps complete, working lap 76, going to be working lap 77 now. We have completed 3/4 of this race. There haven't been a whole lot of leaders. Dylan Murway's led pretty much the entirety of this event. Junior led a little bit. That was because of green flag stops. And look at that, outside pole sitter Jeff Burton in danger of falling a lap down. Two laps to go here in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Dylan Murway has led pretty much all but maybe a handful of laps tonight. Ugh. 21 to go now. There's a huge gaggle of lapped cars up ahead. With Jeff Burton and Jerry Nadeau at the tail end of that, as Dylan Murway's just dominated this race pretty much from the start of the race. It wasn't really easy in the first half, but fuel and tires came into wear. Dylan had to pit, didn't fall much lower than about 7th. He has had a perfect night. They did say that drivers that are good at places like Richmond and Phoenix, which they're pretty similar, both of them are short ovals. Phoenix is longer than Richmond, and Phoenix is the championship race, keep in mind. So those who are good here are most likely going to qualify for the championship 4 at Phoenix in November. And that's an even bigger gaggle of lap cars. Rusty Wallace, Bobby Labonte up there, possibly falling another lap down at this rate. Or more. In fact, let's take a look at the interval. There's only 7 cars on the lead lap as of right now. All of them are chase drivers. And that very well could change to less than 7 by the time this is over. Rudd and Marlin, both of them are playoff drivers. They go a lap down. Ooh, big contact for Marlin. So now it's 6 cars a lap down. Five now. Dylan Murway has led 70 laps. Earnhardt Jr. led 10. He's the only other driver that's led more than maybe 1 or 2 laps tonight. And all of those guys that I mentioned earlier are in danger of falling a lap down. Bobby Labonte up there, Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Earnhardt Jr., all 3 of those guys, they looked at to be strong at this race. Labonte goes a lap down now. 14 laps to go, 13 laps to go now here in the Monte Carlo 400. Dylan Murway has led a pretty massive chunk of this race. He could lap the field by the time this is over. He has a pretty good shot at that. Got to get by the 21 of Sadler, who announced earlier today that is going to Robert Yates in 2003, driving the newly renumbered 38 car with sponsorship from M&M's Candies and the Mars Group. That's some silly season news for you. Now we are down to 2 cars a lap on the lead lap. And consider that some retribution for putting me a lap down earlier, Earnhardt Jr., because I'm going to do the same to you. Ten to go. Everybody is a lap down. Or more. Seven laps to go. This is absolutely historic that you rarely see a driver lap the entire field in a race. This happened at Loudon earlier this year for Dylan. It happening here now, so that's 2 of them now. 3 caution-free races this season. That's a rarity. Right, we had a lot of bumping and banging, but it's been clean and green. No caution flags. In fact, the pace car driver is about ready to clock out for his shift because he doesn't have to go out there. That's how good that he's been. That's how good these Winston Cup drivers have been. 4 to go. Granted, the downside to running caution-free races is it's a drain on the drivers behind that pace car. Unless you get some time behind that pace car to gather up everything and get back at it. Three to go. Through 3 and 4 again. It has been an absolute dominating day for the 83, or dominating night, I should say. 2 laps to go here in the Monte Carlo 400. They come out of turn 2, down the backstretch. They could get a couple more lap cars with Ward Burton and I believe Shane Hall. They come out of 4. They'll see the white flag in hand one more time around here at Richmond. You want to put a bow on a perfect night? Just give one to Dylan Murway. Started on pole, led 3/4 of the race, and coming through 3 and 4, he is going to get his 10th win of the year and is through to the round of 12.
Very often, it makes you pay a whole lot more for any mistakes. You don't have the cushion of yellow flags to get caught up.
The Richmond International Raceway car is the big winner in this one.
Well, everything just added up for him in this one. Great car, great team, and oh yeah, great driver too.
Well, it's been a great night of racing. We thank you for joining us. Next up is Bristol.
That's impressive for that 83 bunch, for that team out of Northern Colorado. Look at that. The entire top 10 is a lap down. Dylan Murway dominated this race from pretty much from the wire, winning by a full lap. Mark Martin, Dale Jr., Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick, Johnny Benson, and Dale Jarrett round out the top 10. Ryan Newman with a good run tonight. A lot better run for Harvick than last week, so he's actually in the top 12 now. Jeff Gordon started 26th, ended up 13th. Didn't really have much of a car tonight. But damn it. So, gotta look at the lineup again. Waltrip with a decent run. Johnson couldn't really get much going tonight for him. Matt Kenseth, obviously he won Darlington on Sunday. He is through to the round of 12 with Dylan Murway, so both of them get to enjoy Bristol, metaphorically. So the playoff battle may just get interesting. So Labonte is out. Bobby Labonte is the first out. And then Tony Stewart, second out. Stewart needs to win. Jimmy Johnson is the third guy out. Waltrip and Gordon, as of right now, are tied. One position will separate those two. Newman is 3 up from Waltrip. Dale Jarrett is 4 points up. Harvick is 8 points up from the cut line. It's going to get interesting. So we're going to be watching 6 drivers. So Waltrip, Johnson, Stewart, and Labonte are the first 4 out. Gordon is technically sitting 7th, but with the way his car performed tonight, he needs something big to happen next week. So we're watching Stewart, Johnson, Labonte, and Waltrip heading into Bristol next Saturday night. Dylan Murway won the pole, earned the Gatorade Frontrunner Award. Dale Jarrett passed the most cars. Earnhardt Jr. had the fastest lap. Dylan Murway was the best rookie, and Rusty Wallace made the most exciting pass all night. The Rookie of the Year battle just got even tighter. And we look through the manufacturer awards. Chevrolet is 19 points ahead of Ford, and mostly because Dylan Murway and Jeff Gordon have carried pretty much all year. I know it's Sunday morning on the East Coast, but next Saturday we're going to be racing under the lights 16 drivers becomes 12. So the drivers to watch, both Joe Gibbs drivers, Jimmy Johnson and Michael Waltrip. Saturday night, 7:30. Be there at the Coliseum of Speed.